Greetings, beloved. Welcome to my digital empire. This is Guy. Um, I'm thinking about compassion today, and mostly we confuse compassion to feeling sorry for someone, and feeling sorry stems from victimhood, and as if thinking as in terms of feeling victimized by society or by other people, even by yourself. And that's not compassion. Compassion is a very empowering virtue and truth that we can exercise in our everyday life in order to lift each other up, encourage each other to be strong in this path. How can we uh, be lonely together? How can we charge one another from a distance? I don't have to be friends with you to feel compassion for you. Our shared humanness must be more than enough, right? For me to feel, to acknowledge the connection I have with you, the oneness, the nature of our existence is based on oneness. So compassion is a feeling, or just it's actually more than a feeling. It's, if I interpret it in terms of if I have to put it in a sentence, for example, it goes like, I see you, I see you as a part of me, and I see that your suffering is my suffering. Even though I'm not participating in your choices, I'm not suffering with you right now, but I acknowledge that suffering is shared by all of us. Your suffering is shared by all of us. That's the point of choosing spiritual awakening, because the more we choose the light and we find ourselves uniting in that world, we change, we affect the world in a very positive way, right? And we work, um, we do enough work for the next generation to enjoy, for the better enjoyment of life. We do enough work for the next generation to feel safe on the planet, even though it means we are not going to be here to see it. So compassion is just a recognition of oneness that we share between us, and it's never looking down, feeling sorry, or even like making you think like you are victimized by your own self and your choices. So people don't want to set a boundary because they feel like if they set a boundary, they are not sympathizing anymore. Setting a boundary doesn't mean that you are fighting with that person, or you don't love them anymore, or you don't care about them anymore. Okay, me, I've been always setting boundaries since my awakening, but I did it in a very it's the complete now, the complete level of my setting boundaries now very much complete. I am like embodying myself in every corners of my being, but at the same time I keep on sympathizing with people that I no longer communicate with. My attitude in this situation is, I figure out that you are not at your best right now. Maybe you are making poor choices, but you are still me, making those poor unconscious choices. So I'm not going to participate in that with you. I'm not going to be directly involved or indirectly involved. I'm not going to suffer with you, but I see you. I acknowledge that you are trying your best and to the extent of your abilities. I feel that it's your programming, it's your conditioning that leads you to not see the bigger picture, and it's okay to be in that situation. I've been in that situation, a lot of people have been in that situation. People will always be in that situation. Unless we have enough of suffering, we wouldn't come to the light. And take your time, stay there and just learn your lessons, and I can love you from a distance. Okay, now people confuse commitment to love. It doesn't take anything to love. Love never hurts. Love is always healing us. It's our expectation and it's our attachment that hurts. Okay, so like I have a nice example for how attached I was, and I learned that through my relationship with my cat. So I had a cat in Ethiopia that I have adopted. I found on the street, I mean, like pretty much on the street where I was living in the guest house. She was abandoned by her mother. I picked her up, I gave her milk. So I found instant connection to her, and she is actually the best thing that I have ever had. Animals are very, they are the truth. I mean, when they love you, they go all the way. It's not half, it's not quarter, it's all the way. So it's felt by human beings. That's why, like, many people just keep animals when they are depressed, when they are anxious. Still they are used as a means to an end. But our connection with the cat, I think it's more than that. It's a very spiritual connection. I cherished her, and since I found her in a very young age, she was able to be programmed by my lifestyle. I used to listen to. I'm always listening to binaural beats when I sleep, and I meditate in the morning. I purify the energy of my place all the time. I burn it, and that we something that we smoke in a church. I've always burned it there, and I say prayers. So she was in a very positive environment in her early phase of her evolution, that she became love, like me. So, anyways, like, I wanted to bring her to Kigali. She completed her vaccination. I had some things that I had to process in agriculture centers. I did all that, and in the 11th minute where I went to buy the ticket for both of us, I was told that she has to be put in a special box that is made of metal. So Ethiopian Airlines have this policy. It's annoying that to transport pets, they have to be put in a very special box. And I didn't have enough time. After my COVID test, it's 72 hours. I didn't have enough time to get that box. So I had to give her up, and I had to give her to a friend. So after I came to Kigali, I was still, thinking about her. I didn't even know how much attached I was, because when you are different, when you are just in your world, I would say, to have something that's not judgmental, to have that energy, that force, that's pure love. She used to come and sleep on my neck. She used to lick me. She used to sleep on my chest, and like, we have that. Just we spent some time together, so I was attached without even knowing it. So after I came to Kigali, it used to bother me to think about her. And is she fed well? Is she safe? I mean, is she being treated the way I treated her? And I tried to keep in touch with the friend that I gave her to, but that friend, he has his own highs and lows, so our communication wasn't consistent, and he wasn't actually replying to some of my messages, which I later thought it would be better to give him a space. So yesterday, as I was preparing myself to sleep after I say Abatachin Hoy and some of my prayers, I was going through my gallery to find some kind of picture, and I saw her picture, and I learned intuitively right away that she's going through a rough time at this moment. Either she's feeling sick. It's an energy of sickness that I got, but that energy of sickness is also, she's being mistreated by whatever is going on in her environment, even though I can't pin it down exactly what it is. So, that taught me about compassion. If I was like, because I was detached, I don't have any attachment to anything at this point. I think I broke out of attachment for once and for all. Once I stopped identification with the shadow, I stopped being the shadow. So I said to myself, I'm not attached to this cat, but I know that she's connected to me spiritually. So right now there is something that I can do, because I recognize our oneness, our connection to my pets. I can actually do something about it. So I laid back, and I called on Archangel Raphael. He's a heart alchemist. Archangel Raphael heals the heart all the time. So I called on him, and I asked him to charge my heart with intense amount of unconditional love. And the unconditional love, the heart chakra, is symbolized by green. That's why I love the color green, because the heart can transmute any illness, any density in the body and in the mind, because the heart has a very sophisticated intelligence that we can't even comprehend in our human mind. So I charged my heart, and then I was able to stream that same energy that I generated in my heart throughout all of my body. So once it filled me up, I pushed it forward, and I was calling her name. Her name is Lulu. Apparently, I called her Lulu because of the Majesty's pets. He had a dog that he adored so much, and her name is Lulu. So I wanted to call her Lulu because of that. So I sent that energy while calling her name. Wherever she is, I'm sending this love energy right now, this green divine light to go to her and to cover her up. And I know that I learned during our stay, cats go through different phases of sickness from time to time, and it's usually in their largest intestine. It's in their abdomen area. So she had that problem already, and I took her to a vet. She was treated, and she got better. And I get a sense that it's now happening to her. So I called on Archangel Raphael with that energy to travel to her with that energy. I call on Mother Mary, my divine mother, you know. I claimed her as a divine mother, and we always, are there for each other. I called on these two forces to go to my cats and to charge her with the unconditional love, with the frequency of love, and to send that love through her abdomen area. So any illness that might be bothering right now can be healed, and she can feel empowered to defend herself in however way that she's being mistreated right now. I know that she's a lioness like me, so I wanted to send her that spirit, and immediately in an instant I knew that it worked. You see, if I was attached, once I learned that she was sick, I would have been anxious. I would have been like thinking, like, why, God, why are you doing this to her? Why are you doing this to me? I'm not even there. I would have been frustrated, but I don't have the attachment now. I acknowledged my individuality, and I know that she's a separate entity from me, but at the same time, I am connected to her. So what can I do in this moment that will be very helpful to her? So like compassion gives you that wisdom. So now, how can I apply the same logic to the people that I'm not communicating to, that I know that I have a connection with? Okay, they don't have to understand the connection in the same way that I do. Maybe their life, how they live, the environment that they were exposed to, didn't give them yet the chance to be able to see the bigger picture, or to be able to understand what it means to be them. They are not like fully empowered, or they might be distracted for whatever reason. Once I set my boundary and I work through my own traumas, my own shadows, my own energy blockages, I can only love them from a distance. So compassion is not enabling. Some people just think, if I have a boundary with someone, if I'm not communicating to them, that must be it. I am deleting their numbers, they are out of my life, I'm not sympathizing with them, I don't care even if they die. And that's not my approach. Okay, I know right now, maybe you are not at your best to be able to communicate to me. I understand how hard life can be, and how our childhood, past life situations, our living situations, being raised in the other parts of the world. I can understand how how that might influence your decisions and your way of being, and it's okay. There is no rush. We all are going in our paces, even though sometimes, since I see what the best of other people, what they can be in their finest position, in their finest way, even if that push me a little to expect, to expect the best from them, because I see it in them. If they are not seeing it for themselves, or if they have a weak solar plexus chakra and willpower, it doesn't mean they are failures. It doesn't mean they don't deserve love and compassion. you know I'm not participating in your adventure with you because I don't believe in it, and I don't believe that it's the right way. But I will set you free enough to explore, to make mistakes, to go down that road for as far as you want. And in the meantime, I'm taking action. I'm working on the mission. I am operating from my soul signature and my soul plan. I am always doing what my soul had set out to do. And like growing up in Ethiopia, coming from uncolonized part of Africa, and the most blessed land that you can find in Africa, the Zion. Um, Coming from that background helped me in my spirituality. I can't lie. So I don't expect you to be on the same level spiritually with me. And in fact, I even appreciate you for doing some physical work in this world, and now you carry yourself with grace, and I appreciate your strength, all of you. um, so I have a lot of compassion, I am just feeling a lot of compassion. Compassion is what's going to bring us together to each other whenever that can happen. So my original intent was to move out of Kigali, and to live in an area that I saw in a vision before I came even to Rwanda. So now I'm moving out of Kigali. I am traveling there one of these days to situate there, to find the place. I'm picking a very natural place so I can meditate at least 2 hours a day, do my yoga, and find people that I let's say find people that I can work with. Like I get a sense that I'm going to meet a spiritual community there. So also, since I'm a freelancer, since I work online, my healing sessions won't be interrupted. All I have to do is to find a nice connection there. And the energy is very uplifting. I'm never a city person. That's something about me. Even when I live in a city, I'm always speaking rural, remote places, like places that have trees around them. And I love spaciousness. I enjoy it. So I think I'm finally being guided to that part of Kigali, outside of Kigali. I'm moving there one of these days. I'm working on it, and things are just coming together for me. I'm very happy. So me, I don't like wandering. I don't like just waiting, wandering. Once I have the right resources to start my journey, even if it's just me, I will do it. You know. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm starting with what I have, and I know that the force is with me. I'm supported from every corner, and I hope that you are supported in your endeavors too. And I don't have anything against anyone at this point. It's just, if anything, I want us all to thrive in the right path. And if you are not on the right path, I believe that it's for a reason. And just give yourself the grace to stay connected to yourself. So I'm loving you from a distance. And the day that you commit to the mission, the day that you commit to me, I'll make sure that I'm committing to you. And time, there is time limit for everything. Okay, maybe what's possible after 2 years might not be possible after 10 years. That's why I wish for all of us to awaken as soon as possible, and to get to the mission with as much confidence as possible. So tonight I'm sending from my heart space the highest degree, the highest level of compassion for all of you. And I want you to know that I love you, and I want you to feel supported by the divine, to stay in your endeavors until you complete your lessons, so that you can awaken to the right mission, to the nature of your mission, to your path. I love you so much. Rastafari, compassion. Compassion for all, compassion for self, compassion for each other. Rastafari.